Do you know how to follow directions? Well, the question is, do your students know how to follow directions? Today, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on implementing my best-selling Icebreaker. It's an icebreaker. It can be used in the beginning of the year, but I will caution you that if you have a group of students that are shy, don't know each other very well, or you're in those first few days of school that can be a little nerve-wracking for students, I would maybe wait to use this icebreaker and use it more as a community builder, maybe in week 2 of the school year. It is also an activity that can be used throughout the year. You can do it in a variety of ways to keep it fresh and unique. You can make it challenging, less challenging, more challenging. You are the teacher. So you're going to print out the PDF that comes with the download, and you are going to see 36 task cards or direction cards in this case. Each of these cards can be printed on cardstock or just regular paper. It depends on how long or how many times you want to use this in your classroom. And you're going to simply cut on the dotted lines just as you would with a set of task cards if you've ever used task cards in your classroom. There are 36 pre-made direction cards. There is also a sheet of blank cards that you can use if you want to get more creative, if you want to change some of the cards, and I'll answer those types of questions later on. But right now, let's just act as if you're going to use this product as is in your classroom. There are 36 cards. Now I know every classroom is different, every group of students is different. You may have 38 students. I was lucky enough to have 41 students last year in my 7th period. So if you have less than 36 students, that's a good problem to have, because we always have those students, eager Evan that always wants to do more, or energetic Ernie that is always twiddling his thumbs looking for something to do. You can give students like that 2 cards or maybe even 3 cards if they're feeling that ambitious, and that will give them extra opportunities to participate in the activity. So let's get in. How does this get started? I get this question a lot in the feedback that I've received from teachers, so I want to make this very clear. There are 36 cards in the set, and they're like playing cards. It doesn't matter where you start in the activity. For example, you can choose a student to begin. If you are holding a card, you can even model how the activity will begin by starting with your card. Here is the key. No matter who starts the activity, you must teach this procedure. When the person starts, they will have a card. Let's see. This card says, after somebody sings happy birthday to Joe Schmo in their deepest voice, then you will silently walk around the perimeter of the room with one eye closed. Okay, so the first person skips the first direction, the after, and begins with the you will direction. So for this example, with this card, it says, then you will silently walk around the perimeter of the room with one eye closed. So that would tell me, let's act like I'm the teacher and I'm going to start this just so it goes a little bit more smoothly. I'm going to say, okay, students, we're going to start this activity. Maybe we're going for time. Maybe we're just having fun. And trust me, it's going to be fun. Your kids are going to be belly laughing throughout this whole thing. All right. So I would close one eye and I would silently walk the perimeter of my classroom. Now, how does the activity continue? Somebody has a card that begins with, after somebody walks around the perimeter of the classroom with one eye closed, then you will count to 10 in an old lady voice. Okay, so now I'm not the teacher, I'm the student holding the next card. They have just watched me walk around the perimeter of the room with one eye closed, and now they're going to begin by going 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10, like an old lady. Now another student has a card that says, after somebody counts to 10 with an old lady voice, then you will, and they will have a direction that they have to follow. So as you can see, this kind of has a popcorn effect, right? I do something, somebody's looking for somebody to be doing that so that they know their turn is next. This will continue for 36 cards or 36 actions, and they get pretty creative, let me tell you. If you haven't scrolled through or looked through the different direction cards, I think you'll get a little enjoyment out of that. Again, if you don't like one of these tasks that a student or yourself has to do, or you think it might be too risky for your group of students, if they're more on the shy or meek or mild side, you may use that blank direction card template to create your own. Now, I've had teachers ask, when is it over? How do we know that we're finished? What is the last card? I've designed this product so that it is a looping activity. So the last card, in essence, says, then you will shout the number 3. So after somebody puts their head down on the table and begins to snore as loud as they can, you will shout the number 3. So I would go 3. Well, the first card in the document was after somebody shouts the number 3 and then another task. So as you can see, all 36 cards create an endless loop. It's the game that never ends. What I like to do is I like to time it. So as soon as it gets back after the 36th card has been done and somebody is shouting 3 again, I know that we have done a full circle in the classroom, and that means the game, when played that way, is over. I like to do it a second time for time to see if the students can follow directions better, listen better to one another, and do it more quickly. There are a million ways that you can tweak this activity to make it fun and engaging for your students. Also, it's not just a back-to-school icebreaker. It can become a community classroom builder that you do over and over again as maybe a brain break to get kids up and moving around throughout your more rigorous lessons, or a day where you find yourself, you have 10 extra minutes at the end of the class period, but yet we don't want to let the students just go to free time. Anything that you can think of will work with this awesome activity.